Hi guys, welcome back. In this video, I would be showing you how I built this AI agent or AI automation that takes a title, a topic, and the target audience, the people you are targeting that topic at, and it takes those two inputs and gives you, at the end of the process, a complete post on LinkedIn, complete with the post and the image associated with that post. You do not have to do anything. You just put in the topic and the target audience and then moves on to, it just does its thing and you see a completely posted post on LinkedIn. So let me just show you how it works. This agent was built using the combination of a Telegram trigger. So first thing is, I will go into how I built it later, but let me just first of all show you how it works. So this is the Telegram bot or Telegram chat face or bot that I built for in particular for this thing. And as you can see, there are a number of comments there and all that, but there is the one that was completely done is this last two posts. So just so that we can see how it works, this one says how AI advancements can help cross-border remittance, and it's targeted at fintech professionals. And if we come here, you would see the post itself. So this is that post already showing on LinkedIn, and it talks about the future of cross-border remittance powered by AI. And this is the post. These are statistics according to McKinsey, and then it's with different things that I hear, and it references some reports, some credible these are hashtags, and this is the image. The image you can see AI is transforming cross-border remittance. There are no spelling errors. The image is clear, and you can see it takes more like an infographic like type of images. And then let's go back again and see the most recent post on that on that telegram. Here it says, what is the place of AI in education? And that's the topic of the post. And then the title or the target audience is edtech businesses. These are the target audience, and that is for this one. This was done just yesterday. This video is yesterday. And this is that post. So you can see here, there's the image for the post: AI reshaping education, personalization, analytics, and innovation. And then you can see the post itself somewhere here. So how is artificial intelligence reshaping the landscape of education? This is what this post can do. And in that demonstrated live, let's see. Okay, so we will test it right now live as we do this, as I run this video. So let's see. I put this here so it's obvious and you can see or rather, let me put it this way, live. And this is the last post on this page. So let's say the effect of sleep duration on productivity at work. And then I'm targeting it as working or business professionals. So let's say business professionals. Business professionals. So let's try that again and see what's happening here. So I've done that now and I'm looking at execution to see. So it's currently running. Just give it a moment. Okay, so it is finished running and you can see it says succeeded. So let's go and see whether it succeeded or not. This is that page again. Remember, I've not reloaded it yet, so this was what was there before, and this is the date. I'm recording this on the 3rd of May, and this was done on the 2nd of May. So let's see what is here. There you go. So this is it, 3rd of May. Yeah, so excuse me, interesting, isn't it? This is 7 to 9 hours peak productivity. So 40% productivity loss from poor sleep, which is $400 billion lost annually because of poor sleep. Wow. Okay, that's staggering. Then it says how many hours of sleep for your best work. So recent study highlights the direct link between sleep duration and workplace productivity. According to the Sleep Foundation, adults who regularly get 7 to 9 hours of sleep demonstrates sharper decision making, stronger communication. So you see, these are clear statistics. It's referenced the right places. There's a sleep foundation if you check, and then there's there are statistics, 40% reduction. It's a quoted World Economic Forum. And these are things that you'll find on LinkedIn. These are real stuff that you'll find on LinkedIn. So so that is the agent in action. So let's go into how this was built. Okay, so to begin, there are 3 accounts you need to have. If you don't have these accounts, you can start, follow along as we build it. So the first thing is that you need to have an N8N account. An N8N account it's an account that allows you to do the automation. So that's the platform where I built the automation that I showed you earlier. And I will show you how it works, or I'll show you the backend of what it looks like. Actually, I can do that now. So this is the backend of how the automation looks like, and this is built on N8N. So N8N is an automation, flexible AI automation platform. So it'll be good for you to have an account there. So just click on n8n.io. I'll drop the link in the description, and then you can use that one to start. So you need to sign up first. After you've signed up, they are free accounts, so you can still start with a free trial, and then moving forward you need to start paying, but you have about 14 days to try your hands on this. After that, you also need to have an OpenAI platform OpenAI account, and this is different from your usual ChatGPT account. This is meant for developers and people who want to use the API, the OpenAI's API, which is what you need. So the first thing you need to do is to visit platform.openai.com, and once you do that, it takes you into this place, and you can set your ChatGPT account to be easier for you to just have this account as well. If not, you just follow the prompt. It's nothing serious. You also need to have a Tavi account. Tavi is an account that connects your LLM to the web. If you've been following my videos before now, I explain what LLMs are. And for AI agents, you have 3 main anatomy that is connected to it. Number 1, it needs to have a brain, which is what your LLM is. Then it needs to have a memory, depending on the kind of functionality you want it to have. And then it also needs to have tools that it can do the work that you want it to do for you. So you need to provide it with tools. And so in order to have, because you're going to connect your LLM to your AI agent, it's important that you enable your LLM, you enable the agent to be able to get recent information. Most LLMs are sometimes information is not recent. Remember those terminologies that I mentioned to you, the RAG, the real-time augmentation. That is one of the things that you need, because you want more recent and up-to-date information, but especially if you want to be churning out content. So that's what Tavily does, and Tavily is one of the tools that you're going to provide for your AI agent, and you need to create an account for this. So you just come into tavily.com, then you sign up for that as well. I'll also drop the link to tavily.com in the description. A Telegram account. I've told you about OpenAI, I've told you about N8N, I've also told you, but you also need Telegram. Now, if you already use Telegram, this should be easy. If you don't use Telegram, of course, you know what to do. But then, in order to get what you need a Telegram for, is to create a bot that is associated with this workflow. If you look at the workflow here, you see that it is triggered by Telegram. It has a Telegram trigger. A trigger means what prompts your workflow to begin, what begins the workflow. So that is what this trigger does, and it uses a Telegram trigger. You can decide on any other trigger that you want to use, but for the purpose of this video and for what we are doing, I've chosen Telegram because it's easier, and because you can do it on the go. You can easily just come if you suddenly have an idea of a topic, something, you're having a conversation with somebody and you have an idea and you want to post that on LinkedIn, or you want to post that for your client or whatever, you can just type it into your Telegram and you trigger the bot, and the bot just does, and the workflow the agent just does the rest. So that's why I think Telegram works for this. And then so what you need to do is to open your Telegram. You can do that on your phone, you can do that on your laptop, depending on which is convenient for you. But for the purpose of this video, I'm showing you how it happened on the laptop, because of course I want to be able to see what is going on. Now, the first thing you need to do is search for bot. You search for add botfather. We're already starting this, so just keep following along. Add botfather, and that is, so you can find it here. This is at botfather. You click on it, and once you click on it, let me do that, it brings you to this face. If you've been having conversation with it before, of course I have, so that's why you can see all of this. Now, one of the things you need to do is now type in, once you get into this interface, you type in new bot. So let us do that. Let's do that here, so that you can / new bot. Once you do a / you already find it. So now it's asking, all right, a new bot, how are we going to call it? Please choose the name for the bot. So I'm going to call this test content agent, and then let's call it test LinkedIn agent. Let's call it a LinkedIn agent. Oh, let's remove it. LinkedIn post agent. Sorry, in case I want to use this again. So LinkedIn post agent, that's what I'm calling it. Okay, so if you do that, you send it, and then it says, okay, great, now this is the name of the bot, but it's asking what the username would be. And in the case of the username, you need to make sure that it's one word, number 1, and it has bot at the end. So I would call this linked, let me shorten it, so linked linked in underscore post underscore agent underscore bot. Okay, that's what I'm calling it. All right, so it has given me, so now what this has done is that it has given me the name of it. They said, congratulations, your new bot has been created. You'll find it here. I can click on that, and then here is the token for the access. So this is API token for this particular bot, and then you do this. The reason I'm showing you how this works is so that you know that for every bot you need to have, you cannot have multiple workflow for one bot. So you have to, so I cannot use the same bot that I use for this one that I've already done for this workflow, because we're going to create one from scratch. So that's what this is. So now that we've done this, if you click on this, you can see the page, it says start. But let's go back before we start it. Now that we've done this, keep an eye, make sure that you have this saved so that it's not deleted. Well, it doesn't need delete, but you'll come back to this later. Now once you've done that, now let's come back to your N8N account. If you have an N8N account, it will, and you come to your dashboard, it will look something like this, but yours will be empty because you don't have anything happening. But of course, if you've been using N8N before, you will have something there. The first thing you need to do is to come to create workflow. So I'm going to create a workflow. So I click on that. Now, once you've created a workflow, the first thing you need to do is to name your workflow, this workflow. So what do we want to call it? We said it was linked. We're going to make linked in post agent. Okay, that's what I'm calling this. Okay, so that's the name. It's been successfully created. Now, once you've done this, the first thing you want to do is to set up your trigger. That's the first. So it says add your first step. I'm adding my first step to this now, and it says, what do you want to do? How do you want to trigger this workflow? Remember, we said we're going to use, if you remember what we did here, we used a Telegram trigger. So you come back here and you search for, you click on Telegram, and then you find which triggers you want to use under Telegram. We want it to trigger the workflow by us sending a message. So you select on message. Now that we selected on message, the next step is now for you to set up this Telegram trigger. It will ask you to connect your Telegram credentials to this. So because you use a new Telegram chat bot, you need to create a new credentials. Now remember what we did earlier with our Telegram. We have our API token. So you copy that API token. Please, it stops just before the column after the word API. So you copy that. Okay, copy code, and then you come back to your N8N, and then you put in your access token. So here, just copy and paste. Okay. Once you do this, don't forget to rename this. So we're calling this LinkedIn post agent. So that's what we call this. So you save. Now, once you save, you see credentials successfully created. That tells you that you've created that credential and it's already connected here. And don't forget it's triggering on message. Now, to test this step, because it's important that you keep testing every step as you go, so that you can identify if there's any bug or anything that you need to fix. So in order to do that, let's go back and start remember we wanted to start this earlier. So we're starting it now, and then we click on start, and then you come back here and you say test this step. Okay, test the step. So you click on test the step. So you see node executed successfully, showing that it is action, that it is working. So in order to test it, let's try and see if we can, send a message. So let's type this. So it's now currently listening. To be sure that it is, let's type in test and send. So we sent it. Now it's pulled it. So it has been executed. You can see executed here, and you can see the word test here. Okay, that is what it is. So it's here. Now that means that this node has been executed successfully, and you go back to Canvas. Don't forget to save. It's important that you do. If not, all your work might be lost. Now, the next step is for us to set up what we call a function. Now, this function, what it does is that it makes sure that when you are passing the information onto the next node, which is the agent, the first agent, it makes sure that the right information is passed and is tagged accordingly. So let's go back to what we're building, and you click on the plus button and you search for function. On clicking on code, then it gives us this. Automatically, it comes with its own. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove this. I'm going to go back to our initial, the workflow that we built before, and I'm going to copy this. So I'm copying all of this, and then I'm going to paste it, because of course we are building the same thing. I would explain what this does again. So we come here and paste. Now, what this does is that it says that he wants to take the input from the Telegram chat page and separate it accordingly, separating it by as one that is the post topic, what the topic of the post is going to be about, and which one is the target audience. Remember that you want it to consider what the post is and target audience, and we want it to split the message, because how we separated this when we put it in is by semicolon. It's by column. So this column here is what we want to use. This column here. So that's what we want to use to separate it, and we want you to trim it and attribute each one to each. So post topic and post topic as well as will be equal to post topic, trim it, and then target audience will be equal to target audience, trim. And that's how we want it to, pass. So we wanted to take the content from the previous node and split it accordingly before it passes it on to the next node. You can pause the video at this point so you can look at it and just type this code in. It's a very short code, just a few lines, and type it into yours as you're building. Or you can ask AI. You can come AI what you want to achieve. Tell it that you want to take it and take the previous content from this and to do this. I want you to use it to do that, and then it can help you to write the code. It helps you to write the code and update what you have in there. So just you can do that. They made this thing quite easy, so it should be easy for you to do that. So once you've done this, you can now test this step. So if you try and test it now, we do this. We test this node. So there's problem, cannot read properties defined. The separation is a semicolon, and there's no semicolon in what we typed in before in this previous node. So let's go back, and then let's go and activate the Telegram trigger again. So let's do this and type in, say, test 1, and then semicolon test 2, and then we'll send. So let's check this one. So let's test step. It's saying please resolve outstanding issues. What issues are we resolving? Let's find out. Let me unpin the data from the previous one. Let's go back to executions, and here it says the whole method. So let's come back to here, and then we'll say, let's go back. Just give me a moment to fix this. Let's copy this to the editor. Okay, so it has something pinned, some data pinned. Let's unpin the data and test this step again. So it's currently listening. So let's go and check that. Let's do this again because it's not going to pick what is already there. So we'll copy selected test and put it and send it. Okay, so it's actually, can you see here? It says node executed successfully, and it has picked it. So we have test 1 colon test 2 here. So that's the test. Now that we've done this, let's now go back to this and execute this node. So you see that it has test and test 1 and test 2. It's here. So because that is here now, let's now test this step now and see what happens. Did it work? Yes, it did. It worked. So if you scroll down, you see that it has now separated it. Post topic test 1, target audience test 2. So that's how you wanted to separate it. So it has done that. So this node has been successfully executed. Now let's go back. And then the next thing is for us to configure the third node. The third node is actually the LinkedIn post agent, and this is an agent, an agent in itself. So let's go search for agents. So you just click on the plus button and search for build autonomous agent. So it's already there. I will say AI agent. In order to configure this, we know that we want to connect it in a number of tools to this AI agent. So let's go back and see if we need to. We want to connect this to a brain. So we need an AI model that is good at creating content. And since I already have, remember earlier I did mention to you that you need to have an OpenAI account. That's what I'm going to use, an OpenAI platform account. I've connected that to my Anything account. So let's do that. So I'm going to pick this one and I'm going to say OpenAI chat model, and I'm going to pick that. Now, because I already have that already, remember it's connected. For you, if you don't have it, you need to create a new credential, copy and paste it, copy and paste your API key. And if you do this, you click on that, you see that you copy and paste the API key. If you have an organization that you set already, so once you copy the API key and you paste it, then you save. Once you save it, that's fine. I don't need to do that because I already have one, so it automatically picked the one that I had. And then what you wanted to do also, if we check this here. Oh, sorry, that's not what I wanted to do here. So you see that it's connected that, and you need to select the model that you want. So here, I want to select 4 mini. 4 mini works for me. Or you might pick 4.1, which is one of the most recent. It's 4.5 if you want to. Yeah, there's a 4.5 that was released in February. Whichever one works for you, just pick. But for this one, I picked 4.1. So you need to pick 4.1. So GPT 4.1, picked that. You now need to set a system message. Okay, there's no need to set a system message. This is the brain, and it just does what it is supposed to do. So once you've done that, you go back to Canvas. Now you set a model, in brain for it. The next thing is for you to give it some tools. Remember I mentioned earlier that you need to have a Tavily account, and Tavily, once you create an account, you already have a default API key. If you scroll down, you can come to API playground. You'll find the overview of your keys, and once you have the API key, you can copy it. But I decided to create a separate one, so you see it here, end content agent, and I copied it. So I copied that, and I set up my credentials here. So for you need to do that from scratch. So let's say we want to try that now, and you say you now HTTP request tool. So you click on this, and then you call this one Tavily. Oh, sorry. So you call this no, that's not what I want to do. So you call this Tavily. So I'm calling this Tabby request, and I rename. Okay, now what else do we need to do here? If we go back to Canvas and you click on Tabily, you will see that it's just a description that you need. You're telling the agent to use this tool to search the web. Remember, we said an agent needs to have a brain and needs to have tools. So you're telling the agent that this tool I'm giving to you, I want you to use it to search the web over something, and what method is going to be post. And so one of the challenges of building AI agents is where you have to do HTTP requests. It can be a little bit technical, sometimes can get overwhelming. So just follow along. If you need to post and pause this video in order to follow and see what I have done here, feel free to do it to do that. But then here, what I've done is to I've said you should use this tool to search the web. So let me just copy and paste so that we don't waste too much time. And then I come here and I say that, and this is post, not get. So you want it to post an information onto the web and search for it. And then here you need to find, these are the URL. The URL, all of this documentation is inside your Tabily account in case you want to just use that. But you can follow this along. As long as you're using Tabily, it should be fine. So this is post, and then the URL, you copy and paste. Then let's see again, what else? So the authentication criteria is generic type. I've picked generic type for this, and I've picked the authentication to be auth. When I was creating that, and then you can now pick your Tabily API credentials. For me, before I started, I had the credentials saved up before. So you can either you can either come here and create a generic type credentials, which is what I have done. And then here it will ask you to either create your credentials. I already have mine, and that is what I am using because I've created it. But for you, you need to set it up, and that's where you put in your API keys. Now at this point you don't need headers, so you will toggle off. It should be toggled off anyway, so you should leave it as toggled off, but you need the body, and this body you toggle it on, and then you will click on use JSON below because you are setting it in itself. And you're going to copy and paste this this JSON file. I had gotten this from my I think I got it from Claude. That's what helped me to do this one. So you might want to try doing that, explaining to Claude what you're doing, and you just copy and paste. Like I said before, I'm not a programmer, so I'm also learning as we go. So I just went to Claude and told it to give me something to use here. So you can, I'm going to scroll up and down a little slowly so you can follow and you can see what is there, so that in case you are pausing the video, you can pause the video and see what I have done here. Unfortunately, I don't have any platform yet. As soon as possible, I will create a platform where I can share some of these assets with you, so it's easier for you to just copy and paste. But for now, I don't have a platform yet, so just bear with me. So I'm moving slowly so that you can see it and you can type it. It's a little bit tedious, but yeah, we're where we are. And then once you've done that, you now need to put add. So let me do that here. Let me just copy this so that we are building as we go. So I'm copying this right now, and I'm coming back to what we are building before, and I'm saying, so let's do that. I've put this search. I've said generic credential type. I'm saying header auth, and it has already automatically picked my API credentials. You see, like I said before, it's toggled off all of it. So you leave those two as toggled off, but you toggle on body, and then you say using JSON. And then here you now paste. So I've pasted it as an expression, and that's it. Now you want to add options. So you want to add hold on a bit, this is different. Okay, so you will see from here that things have changed since the last time I built this, which is just less than a few days ago, and that's the rate at which things change on all of this platform. So usage is important, continuous usage. So we're going to continue this way. If you see, compared to what I had in the one that I built before, there is the content. This content type wasn't there. It was just how you click on send body, and then you decide how you want to specify body, and you can just specify using JSON. If you see it here, let me show you. So when I was building this was how it appeared. So specify using send body, specify using JSON, and then you post it, and then you had an opportunity to set your placeholder definitions. But in this case, there is no way to set placeholder definition at all. So if you click on here, there's no placeholder, and that is the most that you can see. So we'll just carry on, and we'll see what happens when we test it. This is an API call, and is used by the agent that it is tied to. So we can't test this step until we set up the AI agent. So in order to set up this AI agent, you come in here, and then you don't forget that it still carries the information from the previous node. So now we need to set how we want to do this. Let's look at what we did with the first one. So you click on this, you open it, and then you see how you want the source. What's the source for prompt? All right, so you're the one that will define. You are telling the agent that it needs to define it using certain things. So you click on this and you define below. The source for your prompt will be defined in here. Now, what is the prompt for this? How can I help you? So you want it to do something, right? And the information we have is still here. So remember, the previous node is where we separated the post topic from the target audience. Can you see here, post topic, target audience? So you take this and you drag it into this place. Once you drag it in, it sets it already for you. Then you enter and drag the target audience too. So you do that. So already it's already set it. So if you look at this, it looks exactly like this one. Now that's to make sure that it is clear. Let us put definition to it. So we'll call this one, this is post topic of, right? And then here we'll say the target audience. There you go. So we've set it now. All right. So, and see, as we did that, remember we said test 1 and test 2 earlier. So as soon as I put this, it showed test 1 and then target audience test 2. Cool. So that means we are getting somewhere here. Now, what else do we need to do here? So if you come here, you now need to set the system message. This system message is very important because this is where you give all the instructions that the agent, this particular, because this agent is one that creates the post, right? It's one that creates the post for the LinkedIn. So that's what this agent does, and that is why, speaking of which, I don't think we've named our agent yet. So let us name this agent. To say LinkedIn post agent. Let's call it LinkedIn post agent. That's what we're calling this. So this is the agent that creates the post. So we need to give it enough information, and we need to give it direction on how to go about this. So we click on add option, and then we click on set system message. Automatically you will see something like you are a helpful assistant, but that's not all the only thing we want to tell it. Of course it's a helpful assistant, but there's a lot more that we want it to do. And so for the purpose of this, I'm just going to copy and paste this, and we'll run through it together. So I'm going to copy all of this and then come back here. Don't forget we are setting system message, right? And we're saying we're pasting this to show what this looks like. This thing used to have a place where you can see it clearly before, but I'm not sure what's going on. Anyways, let me expand this as much as I can so you can see it. Okay, so here we gave an overview. We said you're an AI agent specialized in creating professional, educational, and engaging LinkedIn posts based on any topic provided by the user. Now, number 2 is objective. Always begin by conducting a real-time research using the Tavily tool. Remember the Tavily tool we set up earlier to gather the most accurate, up-to-date information on the topic. The post should be written to appeal to the provided target audience. Remember that also. Based on your research, generate a well-structured LinkedIn post that starts with an engaging hook, professional in tone, clear and easy to read, educational and insightful, light on emojis, use only when relevant, when highly relevant, and minimal. Includes proper source attribution, for example, according to the source, contains relevant hashtags to improve visibility, and ends with a clear call to action, e.g. asking for thoughts, feedback, or shares. Now, the next thing also says that the output instructions, your only output should be the final LinkedIn post text. You don't want it to start adding recommendations for posting the post in the post. It will look very, very weird. So then you do not want to include explanation notes or anything beyond the post itself. And then lastly, the last instruction here says that example workflow would be, first of all, you receive the topic, for example, return on investment of warehouse automation, and then use Tavily to search and gather the recent information on case studies. Draft a LinkedIn post that uses that. Format it with source citation and clean structure, optional hashtag and call to action. So this is all that the instruction I am giving to this agent. Now that we have this, we want to test. If we say we're testing, what is going to pick from here would be the test word that we have here. But let's see what happens with this one. Of course, it was executed successfully, but it says, apologies, I wasn't able to retrieve the latest information on your topic. Please provide more details about test. So of course, we don't expect you to be able to provide information on test, but at least you see that the node was executed successfully. Don't worry, when we are ready, we'll put on the right type of information and that we want this to do. So this node has been executed successfully, and we're sure that this works. Then we'll go back. So it means that it triggered this, but it didn't trigger this. Something happened with this, and we're not sure what happened there. So that's why you can see this. So let's click on it and find out no parameters. Okay, no parameters. Okay, let's see what it says here. No fields. Okay, but they are empty. Okay, so because it says test 1, test 2, it didn't pass it on to Tavily. So we're going to test this later. Hopefully we can fix any problem that has. But for now, it's saying no parameters are set up to be filled by AI. Click on the button this button next to the parameter to allow AI to set its value. Header must be a valid HTTP token. So let's set header then. All right then, so this is saying something that we're not sure of. So let me ask the assistant what the problem is here. It's saying that we need to set a valid HTTP token for init, and header must be a valid HTTP token. I think this has a lot more to do with the lack of proper prompt. So before I start making changes here, we have to test it first. But so let's go and test it so that we actually see that this is working. So let's think of a new topic that we can use to test this. Okay, so let's test it. Let's put actual topic, LinkedIn topics or topic for the post and target audience so that we can see this. So I have a list of topics that I've set aside for this. So it can be anything. I just wanted to, so that we don't waste too much time. So I'm going to post one here. This one says that healthy habits. I'm removing the colon because that can confuse the system. Remember that when we set the code or the function earlier, we had used colon as the separation. So I've removed the colon that is appearing here now because we don't want to confuse the system. So instead of colon, I'll put a dash and a hyphen dash, depending on how you want to call it. And then for that to separate it, so to show who the target audience is, I'll say busy health conscious professionals. Is that how to spell conscious? Professionals and managers and wellness, health conscious professionals and wellness coaches. These are the people that we are targeting. So before I send this, I'm going to ask this test the workflow. So now I have to click on test workflow, and it is waiting for the trigger event. So because it's waiting for the trigger event, now it's ready to listen, and I send it. Let's see, you can see it's rolling and it's telling us which is working. So the node was executed successfully, but we are still getting an error message in the Tavily. So it means that Tavily has a problem. But just so that we see it, let's look at what has happened here. So it collected information. Can you see here? Health habits, easy nutrition tips for busy professionals, health conscious professionals, and wellness coaches. That is that. And then we go into the function code, and as you can see here, it has separated it as we expect it to. Now let's look at this. So see here, it's already returned the post already. This is interesting. Staying healthy shouldn't feel like full-time job, blah blah blah. It gave the output, but I'm not quite sure it used the Tavily request. So you can see the Tavily request still says it's empty. So something is not right here. So I'm going to pause the video now to go and figure it out so that it doesn't take too long. All I just need to do is come back here to come and tell you. Okay, just stay tuned. Okay, so yeah, welcome back. I took some time to go and figure out what the problem was, and I didn't want to do that while recording because that would make this video very long. I wasn't sure how long that would take, so I've taken some time to go and figure it out. As you can see, so what I had to do is to consider importing curl. That's the curl code. But in order to do that, I went first to the Tavily API documentation, and you will have access to that if you have your API account. And what I did was to click on documentation somewhere here, as you can see it here, and then when I clicked on that, it took me to this page. Once you get to this page, you will see this code on the right hand side, and you see curl. So leave it as curl and just copy it. Now leaving it as curl and copying it would give you see this part where you have bearer API tokens. It will indicate it in here. So when you come back here, you click on import curl, and once you do that, you will see that here. Now, if you see, you just paste it, copy and paste here. Once you paste it here, there's this part of it that says bearer token. You need to change that because once you import it, it gives you all the parameters and fix it. It fills it in itself, and then all of this. But here, you now has the bearer token. That's where you now need to add your token. So you come back to your Tavily account and you copy your token here, and then you come back to your workflow and you add it. But you need to add it with space after the word bearer. Once you have bearer, there's space, you delete what is there and you paste your token. So that was what I did, and that worked. So once I did that, I went back to the agent, and then I clicked on the workflow again. So clicking on the workflow is what now this time around it worked. And I think that there has been changes since the last time I created it, because I didn't need to do that in my previous one. And I guess that is why this node here is saying that it is wrong. Even though the agent will still work without the node, without the Tavily, is that the information is not up to date. It's not recent. So it can still work without the Tavily node, but it will not be as up to date as I want it to be. So that is why it's important for it to work, and that is why this workflow still worked, even though things have changed in the back end. So right now this is working, and we're happy with this. So you can see that it's finally worked. It's now green. Let me show you the execution so that you see what the problem was. Well, everything showed green because the agent itself worked as it should, but it's important that you make sure that everything is working, because there's a reason that node or that Tavily tool was provided for the agent to use. So now that we've done this part, you now need to move on to the next. And in order for you to see what does output, so you see that it's outputted a different copy saying that staying healthy doesn't have to be complicated, even for the busiest professionals. Balancing work deadlines, meetings, and can make nutrition a challenge, but simple habits can make a world of difference, according to Harvard. So it's referencing so many things. We're going to move on to the next thing now. So now that this is done, please don't forget to always save your work. If not, you're going to lose it. So please make sure that you save it. Now the next step is to create the image prompt agent. This agent is meant to take the output here this one and turn it into an image prompt. Remember that we need a prompt to generate the image, so we need to turn it into an image prompt. So, and that is what we want to create. So we're going to click on this and we're going to still call it an AI agent. And this time around, we are going to call this an image prompt agent. So that's the name of this agent, and then we'll rename it. Now, what is there for us to do? You can see that it's pulled in the LinkedIn post from the previous node, and it's all here. Staying healthy, Harvard publishing, health publishing, and all that stuff. Now, what do we want to do? The first thing we want to do is to define below. So we want to define what we want this image to do. Let's click on this so that you can see it. So we're defining it below. The output from the previous node, you want to pull it into the prompt user message. So that's what you're going to do here. So you just take this, you pull it into here. There you go. So it just pulls that into it. And once you pull that in, you now need to set, remember we set system message earlier, so you need to set a system message. That's where your workflow makes or breaks. So it determines the quality of output based on what you've put in. But before we go into this image prompt generator, I need to mention to you that because I'm going to use ChatGPT for this, the image API from ChatGPT is tied to you being verified. So apart from just creating your platform.openai and putting some money in there, because if you check it, I'm not even sure how much I have in here. Okay, I say I have some money there. So, you will need to put some money into a set of billing, and you put in money as credit. You add credit to balance. I'm not put just money when I need it. Just a little bit of money. $5, $10 is fine for now, since you're just testing. Actually, $5 is fine. But apart from this, in order for you to be able to create images, you need to be verified. And so you need to make sure that you have done this verification. So you come to your settings and you click on general, and then it will bring you to see verification. I am verified already. So you need to make sure that you are verified. Just follow the process. It's quite easy. It's only after this is done that you can generate image with your workflow. So you need to keep that in mind. Now let's come back to the workflow. So we need to set system prompt. So let's copy from here and just start to work from there. So it's a long one, and I will try as much as possible to slow down when I'm pasting it. So I just copy and paste, and then let's start from the beginning. So it says that overview, you are an AI agent that transforms LinkedIn posts to visual prompt description for generating graphic marketing materials. These visuals are designed to be paired with the post on LinkedIn, helping communicate the message in a visually engaging, brand aligned way. Now it says that read and analyze the given LinkedIn post, identify the main message, insights, or takeaway from the post, create a clear and compelling graphic prompt that can be used with a text to image generator. Then it also said that the result should be a marketing style graphic, not a literal scene or hyper realistic photo. Marketing style. So I want to change this. I want it to be as marketing style graphic is good, but not a literal scene or hyper-realistic photo that visually illustrates the key idea of the post, looks appropriate for use in professional LinkedIn feed, and feels polished, modern, and engaging. Okay, that's correct. And then it says output instructions. Only output the final image prompt. Do not output quotation marks. Do not repeat or rephrase the LinkedIn post. Yes, that's true. Then do not add any explanations or extra contents, just the image prompt. Yes, never leave things blank like header area reserved for customizable call out text. It doesn't matter. And then it says output numeric stats and when available in the original post. Okay, so that's true. And then I need to add one more thing, and the thing I want to add here is that it should not include the use of other brand logos in the prompt. So do not include the use of other business logos in the prompt. I'm saying this to it because there was a when I was working on one of the designs, I noticed that the prompt or the workflow failed at the point of generating an image because there was the prompt included the use of brand logos, some certain brand logos, and I wanted to make sure that doesn't happen again. So I'm adding that to this prompt. That's one of the things I'm adding to it. The good thing about building this thing is that you can iterate as you go. So the more you work on it, the more you learn. And so that is that with this. And it says style guide. Think like a brand designer or marketing executive. Or marketing creative. Visuals may include text, charts, icons, abstracts, overlays, modern illustrations, motion-like effects, bold typography elements, described, not rendered. Okay, or metaphorical concepts. You can mention layout suggestions, e.g. split screen design, header with bold title or subtle background illustration. Assume the output will be generated using AI image tools. Your prompt should guide these tools effectively. And then it says that the example prompt format, if a modern flat style graphic showing a human brain connected to mechanical gears, representing a fusion of AI and automation. Minimalist background, soft gradients, clean sans serif text placement, space at the top. So that's what we're asking this to do. So I've made some edits, and if you're working with a brand and you have certain brand styles that you want to use, or image or style guideline, you can include that into this part. But this is important that you set it very, very clearly. Now that we've done this, we need to also, let's go back. Don't forget that an agent always has to use a brain, so we need to connect it to a brain. So we connect it to this brain. We already have the brain here, so we'll just use it. So I would do it this way so that it's easier, to see. So I'm connecting it to this OpenAI chat model, so it uses that brain as well. So if you look at this now, we're getting closer to the end of this, and here you can see, let's go back to this, you can see that it's mimicking exactly what it is. Now that we've done that, let's now go and test that step. So now that we've done this, let's test this step and see what happens. Okay, so now it has output, so node executed successfully, and it has output the prompt. So it's a modern, clean infographic style featuring illustrated icons of water, glass, a bowl of mixed nuts and Greek yogurt cap. So it has given us that, and I can't wait to see what this image is going to look like. So we are now done with this step. It shows that this step works, so we can move on to the other step. Now the next step is to actually create the image, and this time around we are also going to use a HTTP call as well. So but let's look at what it is here. So we're going to look at that, and we're going to call this one generate image. Let's click on this and see. Okay, so now let's go back to our workflow and call this HTTP request. Now we're going to call this generate image, so we call this generate image. Okay, and then we name it that. Now let's go, what do we need to do? And the method for this, I'm hoping that it's possible to just import curl, but let's see, this has a curl, doesn't. So let's see if we can follow it. Hopefully it works. Or importing curl is very easy, so let's go try that. Let's go to OpenAI and go to images. Let's go to, we're going to documentation, is that not? API reference, yes, that's where we're going to, and we're going to look for images. So we have images here. Now there is a curl file here that just works, so just copy the curl and use that, because it makes our life a lot easier. So let's come here and import curl. Oh, what am I doing? Let's go back. So why is there a curl import here? Oh, okay, it's getting the curl from the one before, so let's remove that and put this one here and let's say import. Okay, so it's imported the curl, and then it's asking me for my API key. Now the problem with this is I already set up my API key before, and you remember that I mentioned that you cannot get API keys from OpenAI once it's generated. You can't copy it like you can copy it with Tabili. So I had to create a new OpenAI key so that I can put this here, and so that makes, let's move forward. I don't want to use the older one because I'm not sure what is going on. It keeps saying that it's not correct. So I'm going to put that in here. So once that is put in there, let's test this step again and see if it works. Okay, still saying that invalid. Okay, saying invalid n type. It expects an integer, but it's got a string instead. So since that is optional, I'll just remove that because it keeps defaulting to this. So I'm just going to remove this one. So I've taken it out. Size, it's outputting 1024 by 1024. You can change this one if you want to. If you want a different size of image, you can change it. And it's using ChatGPT image 1. Let's see, I think that is it. So yes, so once we test, let's test it now. Now that I've taken out the end that is causing the issue. Once we've taken that out, and hopefully it works this time. Let's wait for it. Okay, so node executed successfully. And you can see it has outputted a base 64 JSON code. It's a very long file. I'm not going to even bother with this one. So that means this node has worked. Now we need to convert this node into a file. So you can say it's worked here. The next thing is to convert it into a file. And if you check it here, you would see that you need to convert to binary. So we're going to search for file for this one. So, or convert, depending on what you want to do. So we say convert to file. And then we want to move a base 64 string to a file. That's what we're clicking on here. Now this is what we're doing, and we want to pull this in. We want to pull the right image in. So if we pull this, I think, yeah, that's it. We're pulling this base 64 string. Don't forget, this is what we did. Let's take that out and let's do that again. So we did pull this in. That's it. That's all you need to do here. So we can move to the first file. So we can test this step and see what happens. Yes, node executed successfully, and this is the file, and you can view it. Yeah, this is imputing that because of what again? Why is it giving me an image? Okay, let's go back to make sure that the prompt is passing on as well as we expect it to. So the prompt has come in here. Yeah, so we've done that. It just moved in here. So let's go back and then let's look at the image. So which prompt is it outputting? So yeah, that must be where the challenge is. The output is not picking up. It's not picking up this prompt. It's using the prompt from the curl statement. Oh, I see what the issue is now. Okay, yeah, a cute baby see otter. That's the challenge. So we take this image prompt, the output here, and we move it into this value. There you go. So that is the prompt for this. Now we've done that, let's test this step again. Waiting. It's going to take some time because it's generating an image, and this time around it's not just a simple prompt. It's a very detailed prompt, unlike what was there before. So we need to give it some time to execute. All right, so the node was executed successfully. As you can see, it has outputted the file. So now that this node is executed properly, let's go back to Canvas and try the binary conversion again. So we now have something new here. We have that here. Let's test this step. Let's test this and see. There you go. Fantastic. So this is the image that you have here. And it's saying carb, stay hydrated, tip choose healthy snacks, tip 3, eat more protein. And that's it. And that's essentially what the post is talking about. This is really cool, right? And then now the next step is for us to now post this, both the content and the image on LinkedIn. So in order to do this, we will search LinkedIn. You click on it. Do you want to create a post? That's exactly what you want to do. So you add that. Now, you need to create to have connected your LinkedIn account to this page. Mine is already connected, but if yours is not connected, just click on create new credential and you can connect your LinkedIn. Just follow the prompt and that happens. So I'm connecting mine to this. I want to post. I want it to create. And I wanted to create as me this time around. I'd used an organization before, but I wanted to create as me. Now it's finding challenges. It's struggling to find the image. So let me go back and save this first so that we're sure that there are no issues here. So it's saved now. Let's go back in again, and it's saying I've clicked on person. Let's try organization. And here the URN of an organization would be, if you go to LinkedIn and you have an organization that you want to use, let me see if I can find one. 3 balconies. Let's search for that. So this is one. So if you click on this, there's this number here. That number is what you should put in. But I want to click, I want to post as myself. So let's just try that to make sure. I'd struggled with using a person before, but even though my account is connected, I'm sure it has something to do with my settings, but I want to try it again this time. Hopefully it works. So let's go back to person and then let's reload. Let's reload and see if this works. It's still having error fetching the person. Let's see if it will fetch the person again. There's still error here. There was a problem loading the parameter options from server forbidden. So it's forbidden for people to use it to post. I'm not sure what's going on here. So it means that we still need to go back to use the organization, which I really did not want to do this time around. But just to show you how this works, this has more to do with, I was still trying to troubleshoot it to find out what the problem is, and check in some of my community where I belong if anybody's experiencing. But let's try using the organization URN. So let me go back to LinkedIn and then I come back in here. I post this organization and I put the URN here. Now that I've done that, the question is going to ask again is text. So the text, what do you want to post as? All right, so remember that we need to execute the previous node. Hopefully it still has that data in there. I'm not sure why I didn't pass the data on. Let's go back and see why it's not passing. Okay, let's go back to execution and revert to the last one. So let's copy this to editor. What I just did is to go back into the execution page and then I copied most of the data that I had used before into it so that it can come in here. So it's wait for the trigger event though. I've already done it. So right now it has the image here. So you can see it now. It has the image. So before it didn't have it, but now it does. Now you have this, and then you now want to, let's go back. This is binary. Let's go back to schema. Now we want to pick, the first thing you want to do is text, right? Remember where the text node, the text output. So LinkedIn post agent, this is the text output. So you take this and drag it in here. So it gives you the post that you want to put in there. And then the next thing is the media. So you want to decide, are you posting the media? If there's none, that's fine. If you don't want to be posting images along with your post on LinkedIn, you can leave this as none. But if you want an image to go along with it, you click on image and then you leave it as data. So you just leave it as it is. Yeah, you leave it as it is. So we leave it this way. Let's see. Let's test this. Let's go back to Canva and data. So let's pull this data in. Let's come to schema. Let's test this step. It posted if executed successfully. This is a page for that one. I'm trying to post the image, but let's see. Because it did. Amazing, isn't it? But it's given a PNG. I think we might need to change this to JPEG because it's having Yeah, it did post, but you see on the background, because the background that I'm using on anything is dark, this showed properly, but now it's not showing, and that means it's posting as PNG. I mean, I will need to correct that. So, but this is it. So it posted easily, and that's all that you need. Let's go back in here and see what we can do with this. So what version do we want it to post as? Maybe we can go back into the image prompt or the generate image, and we give it, is there a system message here? Okay, so we need to go back to the prompt, and we need to tell the system message in the prompt that we do not want, sorry, I'm still clicking on generate image. I need to go to this. So we need to update the instruction and tell it to only output, not to output PNG transparent backgrounds. Okay, so let's go back in here and say, as additional, assume the output will be generated using API and all of that, e.g. split the screen, only just tell it only output style guidelines, only output and not transparent backgrounds. Okay, so let me add that one here and say only output images with solid background. Okay, let me say do not output images with transparent background, if that makes sense. Do not output images with transparent background. Okay, so I've added that to it, and then let's test this step again. So it's given another instruction or another prompt, and then so now that I've done that, let me move on to the next one and see if let's test this step now that it's done that. Remember, this takes a while, so be patient with it. All right then, so it's created it, and you have the base64 code here. So that is done. Now let's go and convert that file to an image. So let's test that now. So it's giving us that image. Let's look at it again. So you see, this looks a lot better, right? So sometimes the best thing you need to do, the thing you need to do is to just go back to the system prompt and make sure that you optimize it to, suit what it is that you want. So now that this is done, this is what we want to post. So now I will tell you to post it again. So now that it's moved this in here, and then let me view it just to be sure that that's what we have. Okay, that's what we have. And then we'll say test step. So once we test this step, it should work. Right now it's said it's executed successfully. Now let's go back to LinkedIn and reload this page. And so we need to go back to let's do this again. There you go. So you see, this was the first one, now this is the second one. It's still the same post, but you see that. Amazing, isn't it? So this is the process for developing an AI agent that can post for you on LinkedIn. But I wanted to let you know that I'm still going to figure out why I'm not able to post ads myself on personal pages, and I'll go and find out why. In another video, I will do an update on this one. But essentially, this is how it works, and I hope you found this very useful. If you have any questions regarding this or you need any further help, please drop comments below, and I will try as much as possible to respond to them. But I'll keep learning more, and I'll be sharing my knowledge with you as I go. I find this very interesting. I find it and just seeing how things work, especially when things change and you have to figure out what has changed and how you can reroute and work things out. It's all about determination and consistency, and I appreciate those of you who have been following along and who have been encouraging me. Please keep doing that. I've started working with people to help them with this. I've started working with organizations, so if you want to if you need my help in that sense, just drop a comment, and I will be sharing a link to my website very soon, and so that you can also reach me through my website. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.